pleasure to introduce Ronald Haupt from Firemint, Australia's most successful mobile phone game developer. He's going to walk through some case studies. Please welcome Ronald to the stage.
Good afternoon. So we had a nice turnout, and thank you very much. My name is Ronald Haupt. I'm the senior producer at Firemint Studios out here in Richmond. And as was stated by Tony, what I do is we produce mobile games, and we have attained a very good reputation so far. Subject for today is 7 months, 7 people, 7 million units. Basically, mobile production in the spotlight. What I'm anticipating doing is giving you 4 case studies of titles we have recently finished within the last 2 years. Just in view so that you can see how different they are from one another and what it is that mobile production actually entails. Let's see if we can get this going. Those are my 4 case studies up there with a sneak peek. The question that was put to me is why mobile production as opposed to production in any of the other game fields as such? Why mobile particularly? That boils down to 2 categories for me essentially. The first was the most obvious is mobile has unique challenges to overcome. And what it is it's things like a multitude of handsets. There's literally thousands out there. And we're developing a game that has to cover a very big span. That in itself is quite a feat. One of the other things is we have a lot of providers. Those are the people that put out there where you can download your game from, whether it be Telstra or most of our product is all shipped overseas, so it'll be the overseas carriers in this particular instance, and they have their own kind of stipulations like size of the packets that would be sent over their network. You can only make a game for 300k, condense as much as you can into their content, voice, video, that kind of thing. They also have other stipulations like you have to include game lobby, things like this, their own online feature sets. And then all this adds up to usually a very high QA outlook on any one given project. Now, if managed correctly from the start, these are the kind of challenges that you head up right from the word go. And what any good producer in mobile will do is look out for this and try and minimize a lot of these kind of costs up front. Then there is the second part, which to me is the varying project sizes and timelines. That is essentially how I chose my 4 case studies today. It's not so much on the merit of whether they were high profile or not. It's just the fact that I'd like to illustrate the differences between these projects, both in team sizes, timelines, and then their unique challenges. Bearing in mind, like I said, all 4 have been completed over the last 2-year cycle with us, and they're not the only 4 that were done. So what that does is, for me, it's ideal working in mobile production because of the ability to run multiple projects at one time. Obviously, that does depend on whether or not your producer is good at multitasking, but it's a great cost-effective production method that we, at least at Firemint, definitely employ. So, in one word, I would say why mobile is because of the options that it delivers to me. And with that, let's move on to our first case study. Many people will probably recognize the IP straight up front. It's just one of those. What it is Tinkerbell, the brief for this game, was we were approached by the publisher, Disney, and said, right, we're making a platform game, Tinkerbell. We're looking at 4 environments, 12 levels, gem pickups, additional unlockable content, bonus levels, things like that. What I could get for myself was 2 engineers, 1 full-time, 1 part-time, an artist, and then obviously QA. QA will make a project, but it's usually the next phase that's the very hard one. Timeline, 3 months. Start to finish game, 3 months, that's what you have. We were trying to get it to coincide with the new Tinkerbell DVD release, if I recall, for home. And so, like I mentioned, publisher was Disney. And then the challenge around that is obviously a 3-month development cycle. There are not a lot of places where you can get a 3-month development cycle start to finish on a full product. And then working with Disney, this is a company notorious for very hard and fast approval methods for their style, their look and feel of the things, and that's something to overcome within your 3-month period. And then obviously the game is going to ship out improved in JSR 184. So essentially it's 2 different SKUs for us that we have to work between. So that was the brief. Give you a bit of a taste on the reality of the project. With a short timeline on that, you need to find ways to cut costs. And first thing we did was grab an old existing Star Trek engine. We vamped it up a little bit. It already supported scrolling and side scrolling and parallel scrolling, so that we could, from the first word go, start instituting something, work around the game design, get content in there as quickly as possible. 1 month in, we hit our first bump when the randomized level generation, which was the basis of the design of this game, changed because the publisher didn't like the idea of random, didn't tell them the next gems were coming along. We try to explain it's the nature of random, and don't tell what's coming along. But he didn't see it that way, and he wanted structured design. So 1 week in, a third of the way into my production on this one, we had to change the core engine and how we worked with us. So, fine enough, we do that. Added a little bit of a complication is when the publisher likes to fly out and join the team, irrespective of what anybody says, whether you're doing good or bad. The extra set of eyes does tend to have a bit of an effect on the team itself. So generally I don't try and encourage it, but you don't turn around and say no either. We did successfully manage to change the core of the engine and get it to accommodate the new level designs, which was really, really good because Marcus, the guy who was the producer on our end, we actually ended up making him smile with that whole deal, which was really nice because I thought from the beginning he was a bit of a hard case. So that makes the approval process, the approval process was much quicker than anticipated, which was really good. Like I said, 3-month cycle and approvals with Disney is not something you can always just rely on it's going to happen. And at the end of the day, we had a very happy publisher who I can still count on as a client today, and we're still in talks with future content and this kind of thing. So that was the reality of it. And then what I like to do is show a bit of results. There was sound with the little video, but that's an idea of what the end content looked like, that little video running down there. And one of the reviews that we got. Now this is for a game that took 3 months from start to finish. Just a casual button, one button game for youngsters mainly. That was our target audience. And overall, we hit our target, which was great. And we were happy with what we came up with in 3 months. It is an extremely pressed timeline to go and change design halfway through and things like that. But then again, there's not many other places I can go to where I can run a complete project start to finish in 3 months. That was the first of our case studies. Probably a little more well known from Firemint's side was we worked on Madden 07. This is mostly for the US, and then there's a couple of Madden breweries I'm sure running around on this end, but generally this is a US product for us. It comes as a very high profile product. Madden itself is probably one of EA's biggest selling licenses. So when we were pitching on this one, that was a pretty big deal for us. Now to give you a kind of idea how the Madden project broke down for us at Firemint is obviously it's a sports game. 32 teams, we had full season, we had motion capture, we had 11 versus 11, so that's 22 players running on the screen at any given time. That's a lot of updating and rendering, this kind of stuff. We had a lot of big challenges. This was going to be a very ambitious project for us, but never anybody to shy away from the challenge. This is what we took on. The personnel allocated to a project of this size is, as you can see, considerably larger than what I had for Tinkerbell. 5 full-time engineers, 2 artists, and animators who work with a lot of the motion capture and so on that they had out there. And then our QA tag onto the end of that. Timeline for this was 10 months. That's a pretty decent timeline in the mobile industry. We tend to average around 8 being the